clean it off. I didn't expect that.
Hello everybody, welcome to the video. My name is Maze, and in this video, I'm going to be turning my first pin. Now I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but I've been pretty busy with other things and haven't had time to edit videos. But I've still been making a ton of stuff and recording a ton of footage. And since we all know the world has descended into chaos outside, I finally have time to get around to it. And even though we're going through some difficult times, there is still hope. Like this last Christmas, I discovered something. Santa Claus is real.
Oh my God!
Okay, so let me explain. At some point during the last Advent season, I entered a giveaway on Facebook for a pen turning kit on Rocklear's Facebook page. So there's a lot of giveaways during the holidays, and I don't particularly remember this one, so it must have been easy to join, which I must have. Or maybe a jolly saint in a red hat did it for me, because apparently I won. So, Melakwakalicky to me, I guess. So although I now know that Santa is real, the reindeer must be fake, because it took over a month to get here, and he must have eaten too many cookies because he doesn't go down the chimney anymore. He just leaves the presents on the porch like the package guy. So he's not even trying anymore. It wasn't even wrapped or anything, but it didn't bother me too much. So it really did come with just about everything one would need to turn a pen, including the Rocklear starting pen turning kit, a bag of 10 pen blanks, a pen turning tool set, carbide, and a brand new mini lathe.
A brand new shrimp and boat.
So can't complain about that really. So the only tools I needed were my own PPE, a drill press, although you could get away with just a drill, a handsaw will do I guess, and some sandpaper. So all in all, a great little haul I was blessed with for the birth of our Savior. So before we get into it, let me thank Rocklear for the contest and Santa for the win. And as we all know, Rocklear is kind of cashy on many things. But what they got is always like quality stuff. You aren't sure about something, you can't go wrong with what they sell. And they do support the woodworking community a lot. So if you can buy something from them every once in a while, we need to support the businesses that support us. So they didn't pay me to say that, but I felt like I should because they gave me a bunch of free stuff. And we all know it's true. So, okay, with all that behind us, let's make some dust. So being as pen turning was new to me, and all the equipment was new to me, I decided to eliminate some variables and practice with each individual new thing one at a time. So I decided to turn a small bowl to get used to the new lathe. So interesting thing about this chuck. So I bought this chuck for myself for Christmas, but due to some shady item specs on Amazon and a little bit, just a tad bit of lack of diligence on my part, it doesn't fit my old lathe. However, as you can see, it fits the new one perfectly. So a mistake works out in my favor. Coincidence? Well, you know what they say. One time is a coincidence. 3 times is science. And 2 times Christmas miracle. After that, I turn a small lidded pot to try out the new tools, and then it was time to turn a pin. So turning a pin is quite simple actually. The first thing you need to do is take your pin blank and draw approximate center lines going the long way and the cross way. Then use whatever saw is easiest and cut it in half. Then you need to drill a hole in both halves as centered and as straight as possible. But it doesn't really have to be that centered and straight. As long as you don't come out the sides, you're probably going to be okay. But just take it a little bit at a time. Go in a little bit, pull it out, go in a little bit, pull it out. Just take it slow and easy, or you'll end up with this problem. I swear, I know what I'm doing, guys.
You can't go in there! It's okay!
Woodworker. But just so you could see what it's supposed to look like. Then you take the brass tubing and you scuff it up with some sandpaper, and then you CA glue them into each side of the pin blank. Then you go back to the drill press and take what's called a pin mill, and this basically works like a jointer, making sure that the ends of your blanks are 90 degrees to your hole. This is why you don't really have to drill the hole all that straight, and why you could do it without a drill press, just a regular drill. And you just keep milling down until you get to the brass tubing, which can be as much as half an inch. So just take your time and just go slow, and you will feel the difference when you hit the brass. You'll feel it, and then you just stop. After all that's done, it's finally time to hit the lathe. Now the key to making a pin lies in the mandrel and the bushings. The mandrel, which is this long rod you put on your lathe, holds the blanks. When you put your blanks on the mandrel, make sure you put them on in the correct orientation using the markings we made earlier. The bushings, which can be different for each style of pen, the ones I'm using here are what's called the slimeline pen, and basically these are the templates. They tell you how much you need to turn down so that your wood marries all the parts of the pen correctly. So the gist of turning a pen, all you need to do is use your tools to get close to the bushing, as close as you can, and then you're going to sand down to the bushing. So where every bushing is, you kind of make it so that the wood is really close to the bushing so you could sand it down later. And then in between that, you could do kind of whatever you want, as long as it's going to be for a pen and it should be comfortable and look good. So for this first one, I just kind of did the basic slimline pattern. So I sanded everything to about 800, and then I put my own type of finish on it, but you can use the CA glue they give you in the kit to finish it, and I hear it works just fine. Then you put the rest of the pin parts in. Here I'm using my vise to give me a little bit more control, but a clamp would work too. But I don't think you could do this by hand. Maybe you could. It was a lot easier with some sort of help though. And there you go, my first pin. So the kit comes with enough parts for 3 pins. So it being really quite simple and fun, I quickly made a second one. But I wanted the third one to be the best, so I slept on it, and then I went down the YouTube rabbit hole of pen turning, trying to find ways I could make it more complicated than it needed to be. And I came across this pin somewhere along the way, and it opened up some grand possibilities. So the next day I set out to manifest my vision. Now the kit comes with enough parts for 3 pins, but with 2 extra brass tubes. Plus I had extra pin blanks that they gave me. So TLDR, I could make 3 pin shafts, and then I have to choose the best one to put the parts in. Now the main key to this technique, which is called the modified slimline, is now you need to have either a long 7mm drill bit or have a way to guarantee you can drill it down the center. For me, I had to make a holding jig for my drill press because the drill bit they gave you isn't long enough, so you have to drill from both sides and hope they meet in the middle, which mine did on all 3, thank God. And then you take the length of 2 of the brass tubes and you cut your pin blank just a little bit bigger than that. So this scene was supposed to be key. Here I was supposed to show you clearly that I was only gluing in 1 brass tube to each blank. The second brass tube is not glued in. However, I didn't push play on my phone like I thought I did, so when I came back to push stop, I really pushed play and recorded this lovely footage of the CA glue drying. But I want to point out it is only drying on one side because I only glued in 1 tube. And then it goes on like this for 20 minutes. Then I use the pen mill again and mill up the ends. But again, one of the brass tubes is floating. It is not glued in. I'm just simply put it in there so it spaces out the mill to the correct length. Now you can put it on the mandrel, and it only really needs to meet up with the bushing on the front. So this offers you a lot of creative freedom. So here's the second of the 3, which is some flamed maple. So I was able to bust out some guitar finishing techniques and use some leather dye to give some color. And the key to this is different layers of color to really make the flames pop. You just got to add different layers, some earth tones in the beginning, and building up towards the last color, which is going to be the most dominant color you're going to have. Then you could see here I am putting most of the pen parts into the floating brass tube. And here I would like to draw your attention to just off screen where you can't see me putting paste wax on the floating brass tube, which is a real shame because you need to put paste wax on the floating brass tube so that you can actually pull it in and out of your pen. And so really, like, I could use any of these 3 pen shafts. I just have to decide which one I want to put the butt cap and clip in permanently, because that is the only piece I can't change. And I could use any of these 3 pins. And there you go, my first foray into pin turning, as well as I feel objective, undisputable proof that Santa Claus is real. So thanks for watching, and thanks again to Rocklear for this contest. And that's the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it or learned something, I'd appreciate it if you'd click that thumbs up.
A craftsman is always pleased to hear his work is appreciated.
Or if you know someone who could use or would enjoy this, please share it with them.
That way, you can build me up so I won't have to brag about myself later.
And if you would like to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell.
I'd be honored if you would join us.
And watch a few more of my videos.
Please, sir. I want some more.
So thanks for watching, and until next time, support your local craftsmen, or get out in your workshops and make your own dust. And together, we can make making great again.